there, Josina. What more can you tell us? What's the very latest here with OBJ?
Well, I tell you what, Tommy, today is really a nostalgic day, a day that has potentially a lot of possibilities when you think about Odell Beckham Jr. returning to the place that drafted him. And I think he's already on the ground. We've been texting over the last 10 minutes. So it's just a few hours where he'll really get things going on his free agent visit with the Giants. But you think about it as far as, you know, this is the team that drafted him in the first round, 12th overall. You mentioned some of the production he had here in his first 3 years. First player to be a wide receiver to have over 80 plus catches, over 1,000 plus receiving yards in the first 3 years. And then really just becoming a global icon after that catch in Week 12 versus the Cowboys in Sunday Night Football. But guys, we know that things began to turn with some of the adversity that he faced, you know, not being able to get more than 6 wins in the first 2 years, 11 in the third, not getting over 5 wins in the 2 years after that. Having coaches like Coughlin, Ben McAdoo, Spagnuolo, Pat Shermer, Tommy, you almost forget all of the coaches that he was dealing with. And they thought everything would kind of turn around after he got that big fat contract in 2018, 5-year, $95 million, but ultimately ended up getting traded, not someplace that he chose to necessarily go eventually, but having the opportunity to play with Jarvis. And we know that things didn't turn out with Baker Mayfield, ended up getting waived and wound it up with the Rams last year and getting 7 touchdowns after not having any with Cleveland and winning a Super Bowl ring February 13th. And that brings us back to today, where he's coming back as a free agent, as I try not to get swept away by the wind here, to a team that gave him away. So you have to really think about how remarkable that is, the healing that comes with that. We have the healing winds coming through MetLife and East Rutherford. It's sunny out after it was raining yesterday, so it's really a bright day. And we are expecting the Giants to take him out to dinner, as they do most free agents. That's what they did with Kenny Galladay, having their free agent dinner in New Jersey. Sometimes they go to New York, and then we expect him to come back here tomorrow, have his physical, meet with the team some more. And then I'm sure who knows if there'll be Giants fans out here. They're already clamoring on social media to make sure that they do not let Odell Beckham Jr. out of the building, because we know he has a few more teams slated on the free agent tour after that, Tommy.
And to your point, and the nostalgia, as you mentioned, is at an all-time high, and the Giants are one of a short list of suitors, but they're not the only one. So when people ask you about a potential reunion with OBJ and NYG, what are some of the pros and cons there?
Well, the one thing that the Giants, Tommy, have over every other team is the city of New York, the lure of New York. I think that's what the Giants have going for them relative to the fact that they are the team that drafted him. This is the team where he became a global icon. This city is none other than any other place that you could experience. And I really feel like that's what they have going for them. And then you consider the fact that Brian Daboll is here. He's helped to turn the team around. They're 7-4. They're trying to come back, though. They've had 2 losses recently against the Lions and the Cowboys, but they're projected upwards. And, you know, so those are some of the great things. And then the fact that you're also including Saquon in that equation. Sterling Shepard is here, though he's, you know, still dealing with that injury. So those are all of the great things. And I really feel like he likes the way the communication is, you know, with the coach. We know that he was already here October 3rd. I told you all he was in the building here when people were like, oh, it wasn't a formal visit. He was here, yes, to visit Sterling and other folks, and now he's coming back for a formal visit. But, you know, even with the thing that happened with the plane, American Airlines, the other day, you know, he was telling me he really appreciated how the Giants handled that. They're pulling out the stops in terms of how they're bringing him in, you know, today in their special way. He told me not to go into too much detail with that, but they are making sure that he's getting the, you know, the red carpet visit coming in here today. And so it's really up to them to communicate to him what they can do to really make him feel wanted. One of the things that Odell Beckham Jr. is really looking for, guys, is to find a home. He wants the next team to be his home. And obviously, he's also looking to get paid relative to what he feels like his value is. But just like he told me yesterday, I want to give that team my all. I want to give everything that I have and finish with a strong legacy. The question with the Giants as we get to what may or may not be the con, even though Daniel Jones has 10 touchdowns and 4 interceptions and only 4 fumbles after fumbling 18 times his rookie year, when you compare Daniel Jones to the caliber of quarterbacks on the other teams, that's what you have to consider. So then the question becomes, especially with Daniel Jones being eligible for unrestricted free agency next year, can they, what are the other options? Can they upgrade there? What else can they do? Can a guy like Aaron Rodgers maybe come over? Is there a Jimmy Garoppolo? You know, what else can be done relative to the cap gymnastics and the fact that there's a good possibility, although it's not for sure, but a good possibility when you look at Kenny Galladay being, 4 receptions for 51 yards, 10 targets, no touchdowns or what have you, not being here next year.
Josina, before I let you go, you had targeted the Daniel Jones thing. It's because if objectively you're looking at it, the Bills can say we've got Josh Allen. The Cowboys can say we've got Dak Prescott. And the certainty at quarterback is certainly there. At the end of the day, after today, what do you feel like the OBJ sense is going to be in terms of his visit with the Giants and then what's left there with possibly with Buffalo and Dallas?
Well, a couple things. You know, it's very clear, and it's already known, I've already reported this, that Odell Beckham Jr. is looking for a multi-year deal. So which of these teams will step up to the table? We know that the Giants, we know that the Cowboys, and we know that the Ravens are all teams that in wide receiver production right now are, I think, ranked 23rd or worse. And I believe the Bills and the Chiefs rank 2nd and 8th respectively. So it's more of a luxury for those teams. But which of those 5 teams, because I mentioned that he was having conversations with the Ravens, who have already had, talks as far as how he would fit into the offense, what to expect from Lamar from the first and the fourth quarter, who are really interested in what Odell can do for them now, still talking to the Chiefs, trying to figure out if he can get the caliber contract that he would be looking for, and has Patrick Mahomes, as you did not mention, with those other quarterbacks. So those are all of the factors. Who has the best quarterback? Who's giving the best deal? When can he start? How does the team feel about that? And then one quick thing with the Giants that I think will be very interesting. When you think about the fact that Kenny Galladay got a 4-year deal for $72 million, that averages out to $18 million, I think, my opinion, make sure I underline that, is going to be a very interesting conversation with the Giants trying to explain how they would give Odell Beckham Jr. less than somebody right now who doesn't have any touchdowns for them and has 10 targets, I believe, on the season. So this is a guy who knows his worth, and that worth is going to continue to go up when people think about him being a difference maker to potentially getting them a ring.
All right, that's the very latest from our insider, Josina Anderson.